Good afternoon. My name is Nick Nicholas, and I'm the President and CEO of Mininginteractive. And in our ongoing series of informing the public about the financial markets, but focused on the mining markets, we have today with us Bill Murphy. Bill Murphy is the chairman of the Gold Antitrust Association. I'm very pleased to have him here today because Bill Murphy has been very instrumental with his organization to let the world know as to what's really going on in the gold markets as well as in the financial markets. Money is printed by the plane load and thrown out of helicopters at the moment. And every time more money is printed, your value of your dollar or your currency, anytime it's printed by any government, goes down. You will be able to purchase less with that same money. Matter of fact, that's what is called inflation. Bill Murphy and his group has been very strong over the years. They actually have been what is called tilting at windmills. And that, of course, was Don Quixote and his trusted friend, Sancho Panza. And they were tilting at windmills. But Bill is not tilting at windmills anymore. He's getting somewhere. Matter of fact, this time, Bill, who I look at as Don Quixote going out there, is going to Washington. GATA is going to Washington. They are going to have a conference in Washington that all of you should attend. And I'm very pleased that our anchor, Denise Poole, is right now interviewing Bill Murphy from GATA, and I welcome Bill. Thank you very much for listening.
This is Mininginteractive.com. I am your host, Denise Poole. And right now we are here with Bill Murphy. How are you?
Great, Denise.
Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure.
Now, Bill is actually the chairman of the Gold Antitrust Committee, known as GATA, and also owner of Metropolecafe.com. It is an internet site dedicated to gold and the financial markets. So, before we get into the interview, I understand that you have a little bit of a football history. Why don't you tell us about that? I'm sure our viewers are interested.
Well, maybe because the Patriots are playing in the Super Bowl coming up here.
That is true.
I played with them about 100 years ago and had a great time. And it was so long ago that they were actually called the Boston Patriots back then. Now that's the New England Patriots. But great memories.
And they're doing so well right now.
They were doing a lot better than when I played with them. That's right.
Now, we're here to talk about GATA, which is, you know, a lot of our viewers, they might not be familiar with that. Why don't you explain to them exactly what it is and what it means to them?
Well, GATA was formed January 1999 to expose the manipulation of the gold market by a gold cartel, which consists of the United States government, the Treasury, the Fed, various bullion banks like Goldman Sachs, and some other banks that they sort of recruited to suppress the price of gold for many reasons. One was to support the dollar and so on. So we've spent 9 years telling our tale and coming up with all sorts of evidence to support our ideas and notions, and been quite exciting. And now we're changing course, and we're letting more of the public know what it's all about, because we have not, we've been blackballed, let's say. I was on CNBC 2 weeks after GATA was formed, and once they heard what we had to say and taking on the rich and the powerful, we've been not mentioned for 9 years.
Well, you've held conferences in the past for GATA. Why don't you tell us about those?
2 great ones. We had one in Durban, South Africa, on May 10th, 2001. We had 5 African nations there, the South African Reserve Bank, gold companies, the unions. It was primetime television on South African Broadcasting TV. It was a big success. It was the bottom of the market, and we said what was going to happen and why over the years to come. It's happened. And 2.5 years ago in Dawson City in the Yukon, we had a conference with 100 people attended, including Andrei Bykov, one of President Putin of Russia's top economic advisors. We've laid out, again, what was going to happen and why. Gold was $436 back then. After Bykov left, he said it was the finest conference he was ever at. 2 days later, the price of gold exploded and went up to $730 in the following 7 months. So
wow.
It's very exciting times for us.
Now, I understand that you have an upcoming conference.
Yes, we have a conference, our third one in Washington, D.C., April 18th and 19th. We expect about anywhere from 350 to 500 people, the press. And we're marching on Washington, actually, to confront the Fed and the Treasury about what is the real status of United States gold. We filed under the Freedom of Information Act a request for the true status of U.S. gold. It has not been audited since 1955. Nobody knows what's there or not, and whether it's encumbered or leased out or swapped out. So we've asked them to tell the American public the truth.
Why is what you're doing so important for investors to know?
Well, the key is that the gold price has been suppressed for a decade or so, and what it's done, this price suppression scheme, because gold is looked at as a barometer. What happens every time gold is taking off in price? You hear about, oh, there's a crisis. Oh, it's inflation. Oh, it's bad for what I call the people on Planet Wall Street. It's bad for their business and so on. It's bad for the power structure and politicians. So they suppressed the price all these years, and it's nowhere near where it should be had they not done so. And in addition, once they started on this line of manipulating the markets and taking the barometers away and not let the markets function freely, it's created what they call this moral hazard situation in the markets today. There's chaos going in the markets, stock markets all over the world now, and part of it was set off because they stopped the free markets in the United States, and gold, while it's a tiny market in itself, it means so much that interference with the gold price has led to other market managements, and now they've created a nightmare situation, and it's going to affect everybody in the world, in the United States that has investments or just works because of what they have done, and it could be catastrophic, and we'll see.
Well, thank you very much for being here and telling us all about this. I really look forward to hearing more about this and your conference as well. I know you've been at this since 1999, and we really appreciate your tenacity and making sure that people understand exactly what's going on in the gold market specifically.
Well, one thing I would like to conclude with, Denise, thank you, is that we have an ad coming out in the Wall Street Journal.
Yes.
Sometime soon, and it's a full-page color ad that costs us $265,000, and because none of the press, even the Wall Street Journal and Post and Times and Barron's and Fortune won't talk about us, we decided to let people know what this is all about by paying for it ourselves. So we think this is going to shake up the whole financial world to some degree because no one knows anything about this subject, and soon everybody will. Well,
I look forward to seeing the ad. To learn more about GATA, you can go to www.gata.org. For Mininginteractive.com, I'm Denise Poole.